Hey, idiot, did you turn on the camera? Pay attention, man, turn on that camera. Chill out, dude, calm down, I'm turning it on. Hello, my subscribers, this is a new video on our channel, and we are the No Strategy channel. I'm Kong Dokyul, a rank B adventurer and also a METUBER. In today's video, I'm going to show you a tutorial on how to attack a rank C monster called Arachne. The first thing you need to know is that they move in groups and look a lot like spiders. Actually, they could be considered spiders, but obviously you've noticed that these spiders are quite different from the ones on Earth. They don't attack immediately. Instead, they spit webs. Okay, let me get back to my first-person, third-person narrator voice because I'm not really capturing this guy's vibe. As he mentioned they wouldn't attack, suddenly they started screeching. This made it clear that their tutorial wasn't very accurate. Suddenly, one of the arachnids started attacking. It aimed specifically at the camera, but Kong managed to defend it. He asked the cameraman what he was doing, telling him to drop the camera and start fighting. However, the cameraman, who was also the editor, named Myung Si-woo, declared he couldn't fight. With this statement, the situation began to worsen. The reason was simple. The original fighting style of the arachnids wasn't to fight individually, but to hunt. They first immobilized their opponent with venom and then kill them. That's why they were so shocked by this sudden situation. Along with Myung's declaration, Kong got even more nervous. Then he said, "We'll talk later, Myung Si-woo. When my mom said that, man, it was like a shot and a bomb. And if Kong was like my mom, Myung was in big trouble. You could tell the guy was strong just by seeing him break the spiders in half so easily. It was so easy for him that he quickly finished the job." At that moment, the handsome face he showed at the beginning of the video disappeared. Then he declared, "What the hell is this? The arachnids are supposed to spit webs first." And Myung started reflecting in his mind. This arachnid attack would be their last resort against their prey. But this changes if they are in a desperate situation. While thinking about this, Kong caught his attention, snapping him out of his hesitation. He approached, grabbing Myung by the collar, wondering if this was how he planned to handle things. Myung even tried to apologize. However, Kong shouted, "Is that all you have to say? I almost died because of you." With that, he punched Myung right in the stomach and asked if he had done his research correctly. Turning away, he said, "That's why talentless people like you are always a problem." Hearing this, our protagonist seemed to fall into despair, feeling talentless and without individuality. This individuality is a special skill granted when someone awakens. It's usually called a unique skill or individuality. Of course, our protagonist is one of those awakened people. However, his awakened skill is individualistic, basically without talent. Since it's a skill that's not special, individualists are completely useless in the hunter industry, and the method he chose to survive was to latch onto hunters. In simpler terms, he would engage with and analyze monsters and provide strategies to defeat them. But today was a fateful day, and an unexpected situation occurred. Kong began to declare, "That damn bastard, I almost died because of him. If it wasn't for me, we would all be dead." Apparently, he didn't kill all the monsters because there was a very small spider behind him. However, this missing spider wasn't a normal one. It was an elite spider. Just explaining this elite monster thing, it's a phenomenon resulting from a common monster undergoing a double transformation. That is, it's a normal monster but twice as strong. If he had already clashed with common monsters, imagine the elite ones. At that moment, Kong began to think, "I'm going to die here. No, I need to survive. To survive, I need bait." And he already had the perfect bait in mind. At that moment, Kong kicked our protagonist right in the face. Of course, he was caught off guard. Kong even had the audacity to declare, "Since you did such poor research and things ended up like this, you should take responsibility for your actions." Wow, this is the guy who put a bunch of spiders at the beginning. To me, this guy is really weak. If I had to meet a guy like this on the street, he'd be screwed, individuality or not. I'm a bit angry. Before, with the normal monsters, our protagonist couldn't even move his legs. Now, lying on the ground in front of the elite monster, he couldn't even budge. Turning to the monster as it attacked, our protagonist started having that legendary flashback. In this memory, he was in the hospital beside a bed. He felt great anguish in his heart. On her deathbed, his mother asked him to take care of his sister. Remembering this, he began to reflect. "I can't die here. This is for my sister, my family. For this reason, I need to survive by any means necessary." Using the katana he had dropped on the ground, he started advancing towards the monster, shouting, "I will survive!" But before he could perform his heroic act, a huge explosion happened, throwing him backward. When he recovered, there was a blonde guy in front of him, with a hood and a red cape. Apparently, the source of that explosion was that guy. However, the explosions didn't end there. Another one happened behind them, but this time it was purple. From the explosion appeared a guy with white hair and tattoos on his body, shouting, "Where did you hide, you bastard?" Out of nowhere, he simply jumped, preparing to attack the blonde guy. And Blondie, of course, didn't just stand there. He leaped up as well. While the two fought, our protagonist was just like us, wondering, who are these two and why are they fighting? Their battle was high level, with their punches causing massive explosions. Seeing this level of power firsthand, he realized even the elite Arachne was trembling in fear. This meant these two were on a whole different level. The fight continued for a while, with them exchanging powerful blows, one landing a hit while the other dodged and vice versa. In the midst of this battle, our protagonist still tried to figure out who these two were. Suddenly, the white-haired guy managed to push off a wall and landed a kick right in Blondie's stomach. It hurt a lot as the impact alone damaged the entire cave they were in. At that moment, the white-haired guy started asking, "Where have you been hiding? Don't play dumb. I know it was you." Blondie told him to calm down, saying the fight wasn't over yet and he already wanted the reward. Out of nowhere, he began gathering a massive amount of power in his hand, forming it into a ball. The white-haired guy did the same. Simultaneously, they both attacked. The impact was immense. The white-haired guy asked, "You know if this continues, you'll be in danger, right?" But Blondie said it was fine. Turning to our protagonist, he said, "I already had a possibility open. Sorry for involving you, kid." The white-haired guy asked if he would really do it, and his answer was given with a huge circle, using both of their powers. This caused a massive explosion, and obviously, none of them would come out unscathed. The other person who wouldn't come out unscathed was our protagonist. However, directing his last words to the protagonist, he said, "I'll leave everything to you." With that, a shield protected our protagonist as the explosion happened. After so much fighting, explosion here and explosion there, the dungeon went silent. Our protagonist wondered, what the hell happened here? As he took a step back, he ended up stepping on a cell phone. It was very strange since he didn't remember dropping his phone. Suddenly, a new message appeared on the screen and some cards appeared, saying they were verifying the connection and that the administrator's succession had been completed. Strange figures appeared above our protagonist's head without him noticing. The phone showed a notification saying, "Welcome to GodTube, Administrator." A bit later, outside the dungeon, the group that had abandoned our protagonist was tired and out of breath. Kong declared, "Damn, even if I have bad luck, it must be reasonable. How is it possible to find an elite monster in a rank C dungeon?" But his punk friends started saying, "Wow, man, you're really smart. You're a genius for using Mayong as bait. If it weren't for you, we wouldn't be here now." Hearing this, Kong responded that there was a reason their channel was called No Strategy, because he used a lot of improvisation. At that moment, our protagonist arrived, surprising Kong because he thought our protagonist was dead. When he turned around, he saw a fist coming his way. Despite the poor quality of his channel, at least his reflexes as a rank B adventurer were very good. He managed to dodge our protagonist's punch and counterattacked, saying, "You think you can beat me, Mr. Xenagame? I don't know how you survive, but that's good. After all, it would be a pain to find another editor." Obviously, our protagonist, who wasn't dumb, asked if he was crazy, thinking he would go back to working with someone who tried to kill him. Kong responded, "Hey buddy, you cried and begged, saying your brother would die without the money for the medicine. I felt sorry for you and helped, but now you're acting like this? And besides, I lent you money." Our protagonist replied that he had a terrible habit of recording everything he saw. He even thought this habit was kinda stupid, but in the end, it was quite useful. Because of it, he managed to record a video of Kong abandoning him. If he edited and uploaded this video, it would surely get a lot of views. Kong, pretending to be sympathetic, declared that he should just kill him. After all, the dead don't talk. However, this didn't stop our protagonist, who declared that he might end up dead, but Kong would go to prison, and the channel he worked so hard on would disappear, which was almost like they would die together. But this intimidation didn't work on Kong. Looking at our protagonist with a sarcastic smile, he declared, "Hey, buddy Myung-soo, if you really use that video online, the one in danger wouldn't be you but your sister." He turned to his colleagues, saying he would look for another editor when he got home, and that they should leave now. Kang's declaration made our protagonist declare, "If you lay a finger on her, I won't be able to control myself." Returning home, our protagonist began to analyze the phone he found in the dungeon, wondering what this GodTube was. Could it be the channel of the gods? Because like METUBER was a place, a site where everyone could post videos for everyone in the world to watch. And of course, there were several categories since it was for the whole world. However, the most sought after category of all was the hunter category. But on this GodTube, it was totally different. There was a video of a guy fighting Lucifer with a sacred sword forged by Hephaestus. A speed run of Thor battling a world-devouring serpent. It was crazy content, but among all these videos, they had one thing in common. They were all gods, folklore figures, heroes of legends. In short, the strongest of the strong. Seeing all this, our protagonist, Proda, voiced my thoughts exactly. Why the heck are gods making videos and posting them? And following this line of thought about gods and legendary heroes, who was was that blonde guy he met in the dungeon, and why did he give him that phone and leave? However, this was a lot of information to absorb. I paused to think for a bit. If gods are really making videos and posting them, they should have at least 100 million subscribers, right? After all, they are gods. And since he was bored with nothing else to do, he decided to watch one of these godly videos to see what it was like. He found a video and accidentally clicked the subscribe button, and suddenly a tag appeared saying that if he subscribed to Zhuge Liang's channel, he could learn the skill and rank up to S just by watching the video. This caught him by surprise, and another system screen appeared saying he had subscribed to Zhuge Liang's channel and could only subscribe to 3 channels, leaving 2 remaining. With this, he gained the skill insight, which surprised him greatly. Having a rank S skill was one thing, but an S+ rank? That didn't even exist back then. There were speculations that the unique skills of the 13 heroes who fought the Demon King might be in the S rank. Observing this, Prota thought, wait a minute, skills of this level just for subscribing and watching a video? This doesn't make sense. Seriously, Demi, just by subscribing to a channel, the guy is already strong? This is overpowered, let's take it easy. Maybe the S rank skill wasn't a big deal because our protagonist didn't feel anything different. But since his skill was called Insight, perhaps it enhanced his observational abilities, making changes hard to notice. Abstract skills are challenging to understand with the naked eye. Browsing more videos on GodTube, he stumbled upon none other than the son of Zeus. To test if he would really gain any skill, he subscribed to his channel too. Again, the system notified that he had subscribed to Hercules' channel, leaving only 1 channel subscription remaining. He also gained a skill called Super Strength of rank SS. If he was surprised by the S+ rank skill, imagine SS. He was so shocked that he ended up smashing his desk. Prota destroyed his notebook. Then he realized he had truly gained the skill. Unlike Insight, he didn't see any immediate changes, at least not yet. And since Prota accidentally crushed his notebook, the system notified him that he had used Super Strength. His proficiency increased to 0.1%. Prota was left with his mouth agape, astonished at gaining Super Strength just by subscribing to a channel. Another thing he couldn't stop thinking about was what the heck GodTube was. As he tried to understand it, the system notified him that he had contemplated increasing his Insight proficiency by 0.1%. Prota began to wonder if reaching 100% proficiency would mean fully mastering the skill. Looking at Hercules' channel, he noticed a video titled Hercules Personal Training. With such a catchy title, of course, he clicked. The video started with many people from Olympus completely surprised. The reason was right in front of them. Hercules simply tore down one of Olympus' pillars, declaring how exciting and stimulating it was, all in a rather crazy manner. My brother, Hercules isn't right in the head, is he? He's nuts. And I probably wasn't the only one thinking this because Prota also thought he was completely bonkers. And taking advantage of this, who would want Hercules as their personal trainer? Like me, Prota didn't want that either. He even tried to unsubscribe, which made sense because Hercules' channel only had 1 subscriber. However, the system said he couldn't unsubscribe. Suddenly, Hercules broke the 4th wall, directly addressing Prota, calling him a little grasshopper. He could join the group but couldn't leave as he wished. Despite multiple attempts, Prota couldn't unsubscribe. The system notified him that once subscribed, he couldn't simply unsubscribe. With this, he had only 1 channel subscription left to break his limit. Oh, and of course, Hercules reminded our protagonist that tomorrow would be quad training day. At that moment, the jerk started calling Prota. Judging by his reaction, we could guess who it was. Obviously, it was none other than Kong. Prota asked what he wanted now. Kong even joked, saying he thought Prota would have blocked him but apparently hadn't. Prota, not wanting a lengthy conversation, told him to get to the point. Kong declared he was calling to talk business. Prota, already wanting to end the chat, asked why Kong thought they would work together again. Kong, pretending to be clueless, asked what he meant. They had been working together recently. Hearing this, Prota declared, "You better stop with these jokes and get to the point. I'm not enjoying these jokes, or I'll hang up." Yeah, that's the right way to treat this guy, giving him a hard time being the protagonist. Kong then revealed he had received a merger proposal from the SH group and asked if Prota would be interested in joining him. This SH group wasn't a small fry. It was the top-ranked company in Korea's business world. As the cherry on top, he recently heard that the group's granddaughter had awakened as a hunter with 2 S-rank skills. So, it probably comes from their intention to enter the world of hunters. Kong said exactly that, and that's why they're trying to merge with his channel to test the waters of the hunter world. That's where our protagonist, Prota, comes in, and assuming they were talking about the SH group, I'm pretty sure he'd be involved, right? But our protagonist responded exactly how we wanted him to, saying, "No way!" However, Kong is very persistent and declared, "But what if you earned $500 per video?" Well, then we'd still have to discuss the details. $500, right? Damn, because $500 isn't a small amount, I'd consider it. With that, Kong proposed again if he would join him or not. With a smile on his face, Prota declared he wouldn't. This made Kong disdainful since $500 was 10 times the normal rate. As it was a win-win situation, he asked how much Prota wanted per video. Prota responded, and obviously, upon hearing this, Kong got nervous, asking if Prota was crazy for demanding such an absurd amount. But in his mind, he wondered if Prota realized he was making a lot of money with the SH group. While discussing with Kong, Prota's perception ability started to increase. Prota then asked Kong a question that left him a bit confused. Why do you think the SH group is willing to work with you instead of using rank S hunters? The answer was simple. Since his granddaughter awakened as a hunter, not with one but with 2 rank S abilities. Would President Han Tae-san of the SH group sit quietly, handing over the hunter world like that? No, he would definitely start with the basics of hunting, even if the hunter world was at great risk. Talking about the basics of hunting, the answer lies in monster strategy. So far, his channel had accumulated 210,000 subscribers, and obviously, he made a lot of money with the videos thanks to the unique strategies Prota designed. Following this line of thought, it was obvious that President Heitai approached him not because of him but because of Prota's knowledge about monsters. Hearing this, Kong was shocked and asked, "Alright, but what if I pay you $5,000? With an impassive expression, Prota replied, "Didn't I say no? Man, I'm liking this protagonist. I hope he wipes the floor with this guy. I'm sure Kong will come back to bother him later, but I hope he remains brave." And Prota didn't stop there, saying that if it doesn't work, Kong should dive into his savings, take loans, and adjust his life. Or better yet, try to find another editor, as he said himself. In the end, Kong accepted Prota's proposal, and they were already inside a dungeon in Crank Bay. Prota, somewhat deaf, asked when the rest of the money would be deposited into his account. Kong replied that he'd send the rest once they finished everything there. At the same time, he received a message informing him that Han Chaerin had arrived. When they looked back, there she was, the granddaughter of the SH group, Han Chaerin. She was already angry, saying she would join the fray and that they should leave immediately. Of course, with all that beauty in front of him, Prota was surprised. Well, who wouldn't be, right? Even I was a bit surprised. But as they say, every rose has its thorns, and it seemed it was hard to get close to her. However, our Prota is calm and composed, thinking, well, as long as I get paid, it doesn't matter. I should just focus on my work. A bit later, deep in the dungeon, he encountered his first monster. While Prota set up the camera to make the video, Han asked if that was a troll. Taking the opportunity to appear knowledgeable, Kong said she was right, explaining that trolls are classified as B rank. Among their abilities, they possess a regenerative skill, and if they didn't attack strategically, they would waste their energy for nothing. Do you really think he would do something so confidently without knowing anything? Obviously not, right? This strategy was devised by our protagonist. The strategy he created, or rather, the one Prota created, was to prevent the troll's regeneration. To do this, they needed to completely tear its body apart, destroy its heart, and then decapitate it. Hearing this, Han immediately drew her sword and started chasing the troll. She followed the risky strategy, hitting the troll right in the heart and quickly decapitating it with a single strike. Seeing all this, both Prota and Kong were stunned, and she declared it was very easy. Damn, if you do it that quickly, you won't even have a video, it would be a speedrun like Thor. Kong, not wanting to miss another opportunity, began to declare, "Wow, even though I explained it crudely, you understood perfectly, as expected of an S-class hunter." She swung her sword to shed the blood, saying, "You flatter me too much." When she brandished the sword, Prota saw some kind of aura around her. He commented that he had heard of such a weapon, made by a Chaura named Aureliano, and asked the value of the weapon. She responded as if it were the most natural thing in the world, saying, "Oh, I don't know, about 20 billion won? Man, 20 billion is no small amount, right? But she's the granddaughter of the richest guy in Korea, so it must be easy for her." She kept saying she didn't fully understand the strategy yet, so they needed to hunt a few more trolls to grasp it better. An hour later, deeper in the dungeon, she declared that she now understood the strategy a bit, and since there seemed to be no more trolls, they should head back. Kong, again trying to suck up to her, politely thanked her for her hard work. She simply acknowledged his thanks, remaining impassive. Hearing her response in that tone made him boil with rage inside. He thought he had lost a great opportunity to partner with the SH group and blamed everything on our protagonist. However, our Prota isn't dumb and knew what he was thinking. Suddenly, the dungeon started shaking violently, like an earthquake. Kong thought, "Wow, now's my chance." Han asked what it could be, and Kong commented that it was probably an elite monster. However, judging by the thunderous sound, it wasn't just an elite monster. It was a boss monster. In front of them was an insane-looking monster. Bones sticking out, a broken horn, covered in blisters, a piece of rock on its shoulder, It was a mess. As Han was the strongest there, she had to protect the entire group. Seeing this situation, it felt like deja vu because Kang's group started fleeing again, leaving Han behind. Guys, Prota is going to deal with the SH group later. I can't wait to see it, because if you tell the old man, he'll protect the sister, right? I hope so. Since Han was a novice adventurer, she couldn't face a boss monster on her very first attack. She was thrown back, and it seemed like the boss heard us talking about Kang's group, as it even threw some rocks at them, knocking them out. However, it missed the group's leader. While running, Kang thought, SH group, Chiron. And although he thought he could escape this time, a monster simply appeared in front of him. Being a coward who hadn't trained with our Hercules, he froze in fear. Han, much braver than him, still had the kindness to defend him. But as we saw earlier, she wasn't strong enough and was thrown back again. Before she could get up, the monster was already attacking again. However, she dodged at the last second, climbed up its arm, and aimed for its neck. The attack had no effect, only angering the boss even more. Countered again, hitting her and slamming her into the ground. She managed to defend against the attack, but only barely. Seeing all this, our protagonist began to reflect. There's no way we can win this. Even though Han has 2 rank S abilities, she's just a beginner in the hunter world. For this reason, there's no way we can win. So, the only option I have in this situation is to run and leave Han behind. And that's it, folks. We've finished another video here. If you liked it, leave a lovely like and comment something like Hercules or Gang, so I know you enjoyed this series and I can bring more episodes. And since there are many chapters ahead, I've only done 3 chapters, but I've dragged on too much. Go straight to the next video.